Hi everyone, this is Andy from Audi Upgrades and remotestarts.co.uk. You may know me from Audi Upgrades, where we offer factory level OEM retrofits into your existing vehicle, but we also have a remote start solution for your vehicle that is completely plug and play and that you can fit yourself with a little bit of know-how and some appropriate tools. This video is going to walk you through that, and for this demonstration we're using a 2016 Audi Q7 4M. When you purchase the kit from us, it will become pre-programmed for your vehicle that we will do before shipping. You get the main brain of the remote start solution here, a pre-designed plug and play wiring loom specifically for your vehicle, and a key box. And this key box is where you put your spare key in, which will allow the remote start system to safely start your vehicle while keeping it secured. The first thing you need to do is take your spare key and remove this metal piece, because this is not needed. Remove the battery from inside, because that can also be removed. So you'll also always be left with just this component of the key. Take this key, open up the little box, and it is a pre-foam cutout that is designed to fit your key specific for your vehicle. Place it in the box and close the box up. For the tools for taking apart the vehicle itself, you need some plastic trim tools, a size 14 wrench, a size 10, and a M8 Torx remover, a small flat-headed screwdriver, and you may need a small pair of pliers. I'm going to move these to one side. First thing you want to do, obviously open up your boot. All the work for the remote start system is contained within the back left-hand corner of your vehicle, and it will be in this position for most of the vehicles that we will supply the solution for. In the example of this Q7, remove this backboard out of your car and place it to one side. The next piece is this metal steel crossbar across the back of the car. To remove this, give it a gentle pull upwards like this, and it will just become loose by itself. Raise it slightly and just check underneath to see whether there is a connector that is connected into the back of this for the boot lock. This is where the little pair of pliers that I showed you come in handy to remove this connector. We've already disconnected it just for the purposes of this video, and the plastic piece then removes by itself. Place it to one side. Next, you may have a load fix kit like in this Q7, or optionally you may just have some lashing eyes instead. You may have two up here. Remove these with the bolts that are inside them. Just lift the flap up and remove the bolts, or if you have the load fix kit, just use your M8 Torx bolt and remove the 3 bolts holding the load fix kit bar in and lift it out. Next, take your flat-headed screwdriver, place it into this the center of this switch section here, and there'll be a little bit of plastic trim. Pull upwards like this, and the plastic trim will lean forward and remove that. Behind here will be a T25 Torx bolt. Use a T25 Torx screwdriver to remove it. Once removed, pull this forward, and you'll have either, depending on the specification of your vehicle, you'll either have 1 or 2 sets of switches. Just push both of the connectors here, and the connectors will just wheel and remove by themselves, like so. Once that's done, put this to one side. Next, you're going to want to come round to your rear seat and just lower the seat here and raise it up, so you've got some access to the back of the trim here. Using your plastic trim tool, get behind the rubber seal here and prise the rear trim, the rear luggage trim, left side luggage trim slightly forward. Reach behind, and the little light is in here. Push the little metal tab down on the light. The light will come forward. Disconnect the connector and put the light to one side. We've already removed it for the sake of this video. Next, with your plastic trim tool still, just come here and loosen the trim here, here and here, and you'll find that this whole trim will then naturally lean forward. Once forward, pull slightly more forward and you'll find the connector for the cigarette socket. Push in on the tab and lift the connector up. The rest of the trim will lean forward. You may have an aerial connected to this part of the trim if you have a slightly newer vehicle from 2018 onwards. Just slide it out from here and lay it to one side. Remove the trim from the vehicle. Next, we need to remove this little bit of trim here. We've already loosened this for the sake of this video. All you have to do here is, once you've removed the lashing eyes that I mentioned earlier, loosen the trim at the far end where the buttons are for the third row seats. They just separate on their own, and then this little piece of plastic trim will then just lift up and come out by itself. Place this to one side. You're now pretty much at the main section that you need to undo the last bolts where the remote start system will be installed. We advise that you undo the bolts. If you have a BOSE amp or B&O amp installed in your Q7, we recommend you undo the bolts holding this in, and this is where your 14 bolt removal tool will come in handy. Undo the 4 bolts for the BOSE amplifier and place the bolts safely to one side so you don't lose them. Once the bolts are removed, lift the BOSE amp up and just swing it round to one side like that, and just leave it there. Just leave it securely, well, just leaning to one side here. The remote start kit is installed underneath this plastic housing. To get to this plastic housing, you'll see 2 further size 10 bolts here, nuts here. Undo these nuts using your size 10 nut. Like so. You're now at a point where you can now raise this plastic housing along with the fuse holder on top. You may wish to loosen the fuse holder first by pushing in these 2 tabs here and here, and this raises the fuse holder up. You can then lean this up to one side. Alternatively, you can leave it connected and just lift the main plastic housing up, just as I'm showing here. Lean the plastic housing up, and if you look underneath the housing, this is where your body control module 2 is stored, the convenience control module. This is the module that we are going to connect your pre-made plug and play loom into. There are 4 connectors that we need to connect into. This blue one, this black one, this brown one, and there's another black one just here, and I'll go through that now. It is, as long as the engine and electrics are switched off, it's safe to remove these at any time. Just push and lift the purple flap up here and the connector will come out for the blue one. Raise this little red tab. You may find a flat-headed screwdriver works well here to release the security catch. Push the little black tab down and the black connector comes out. Do the same for the brown one down here. Raise the little red tab and push the brown tab down and the brown connector removes. Finally, as mentioned, the black one here. Raise the little purple tab. It's a little bit fiddly. Like this, and then slide the purple tab to one side and the black connector will remove. There's one more here, but we don't need to touch this one, so you can leave this one connected to the module. Next, take your plug and play loom. Your loom is made up of the same 4 connectors that we've just removed. Here you can see the black connector here, the brown connector, the other black connector, and the blue connector. And these just piggyback on the existing connections. So all you're going to do is take each of the connectors there and plug into their corresponding socket on this loom, and then on the other end you're going to plug those back into the module to form the system. So I'll do that now. I'll plug this black connector in here. And then the other end of the black connector, I'll take the one that was in that module and plug it in. We'll take the next one, the blue one in this example. The other way around. Push it on. Just loosen this purple tab. Make sure the purple tabs are open like this. Slide it on. The purple tab will swing round and push down, and then take the original purple connector and connect in. Next we'll use the brown one. The brown one was down here. These connectors only go into these sockets, you can't get these mixed up. Push the brown connector in. As you can see, I've just pushed it in here, labelled VS1. We'll take the other brown connector on the other end, its mating connector, and plug in the original brown one we removed earlier. Finally, the black one, which is here. This black one goes in down the bottom. Maybe a bit hard to see. Like so, you can see it there. It's exactly the same as this blue one here. And then take the black connector that you removed earlier and connect in. That is all the connections you need to do to the vehicle. There is no soldering, no cutting, no splicing. It is the removal of those 4 connectors, putting in the loom, and then putting everything back. Once that's done, you can tidy this up. For the sake of this, I'll just leave this loose for here for the now and show you the remaining connectors to connect the control unit up to. On the loom that we provide you, you'll be left with these 3 connectors. A little small 2-pin blue connector, a large black connector, and a little green connector. The little green connector is for the box that you put the key in earlier. Connect that into the back of the box, and we suggest that you bury this key box under the carpet, underneath the BOSE or B&O amplifier, or depending on your layout, maybe even under the subwoofer or some other piece of equipment that's in your boot so it's hidden under the carpet. There's a reasonable length of loom to do such. Finally, the main brain of the remote start kit. The only 2 connections you want are this black connector here and this blue connector. All the other connections on this unit are not used. Push the black connector on and push the blue connector on next to it. This unit you can also bury under the carpet. Alternatively, there is some storage under here where you can also store that unit. You should also see some lights flashing once you've connected it up. For example, you could put it under here at the back of the unit and then put everything back. Once this is done, you then want to reverse the procedure of how you took the car apart. So put your 2 size 10 bolts back here for this plastic shroud. Put your side trim here where your load fixing kit or lashing eyes were. Put your BOSE amp back with the size 14 bolts. Put your side trim back on, not forgetting to connect your cigarette lighter, your little light here that's on the side, and the switches and the connectors for your switches for your tow bar, air suspension and rear seats. Your rear sill trim will go on next, and then your cover for your boot cover that will go in last. That completes the remote start installation. Once that's completed, you'll just need to pair the solution to your vehicle, and we'll demonstrate that in a second video. Many thanks.